Hadīth 1. Narrated Abdullāh bin Mas'ud, I asked Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. What is the best deed? He replied, to offer the prayers at their early stated fixed times. I asked, what is next in goodness? He replied, to be good and dutiful to your parents. I further asked, what is next in goodness? He replied, to participate in Jihad in Allah's cause. I did not ask Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, any more, and if I had asked him more, he would have told me more. Hadīth 2. Narrated Ibn Abbas, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there is no hijrah, that is, migration, from Makkah to Medina, after the conquest of Makkah, but jihad and good intention remain, and if you are called, by the Muslim ruler, for fighting, go forth immediately. Hadīth 3. Narrated Aisha, that she said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. We consider jihad as the best deed. Should we not fight in Allah's cause? He said, the best jihad, for women, is Hajj Mabrur, that is, Hajj which is done according to the Prophet's tradition and is accepted by Allah. Hadīth 4. Narrated Abu Hurairah, a man came to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, instruct me as to such a deed as equals jihad, in reward. He replied, I do not find such a deed. Then he added, can you, while the Muslim fighter is in the battlefield, enter your mosque to perform prayers without cease, and fast and never break your fast? The man said, but who can do that? Abu Hurairah added, the Mujahid, that is, Muslim fighter, is rewarded even for the footsteps of his horse while it wanders about, for grazing, tied in a long rope. Hadīth 5. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, somebody asked, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Who is the best among the people? Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, replied, a believer who strives his utmost in Allah's cause with his life and property. They asked, who is next? He replied, a believer who stays in one of the mountain paths worshipping Allah and leaving the people secure from his mischief. Hadīth 6. Narrated Abu Hurairah, I heard Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, the example of a Mujahid in Allah's cause, and Allah knows better who really strives in his cause, is like a person who fasts and prays continuously. Allah guarantees that he will admit the Mujahid in his cause into paradise if he is killed, otherwise he will return him to his home safely with rewards and war booty. Hadīth 7. Narrated Anas bin Malik, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, used to visit Haram bint Milhan, who would offer him meals. Haram was the wife of Ubadah bin As-Samit. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, once visited her and she provided him with food and started looking for lice in his head. Then Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, slept, and afterwards woke up smiling. Haram asked, what causes you to smile, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him? He said, some of my followers who, in a dream, were presented before me as fighters in Allah's cause, on board a ship, amidst this sea, caused me to smile, they were as kings on the thrones, or like kings on the thrones. Ishaq, a sub-narrator is not sure as to which expression the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used. Haram said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Invoke Allah that he makes me one of them. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, invoked Allah for her and slept again and woke up smiling. Once again Haram asked, what makes you smile, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him? He replied, some of my followers were presented to me as fighters in Allah's cause, repeating the same dream. Haram said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Invoke Allah that he makes me one of them. He said, you are amongst the first ones. It happened that she sailed on the sea during the caliphate of Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan, and after she disembarked, she fell down from her riding animal and died. Hadith 8. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Whoever believes in Allah and His Apostle, offers prayer perfectly and fasts the month of Ramadan, will rightfully be granted paradise by Allah, no matter whether he fights in Allah's cause or remains in the land where he is born." The people said, "O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Shall we acquaint the people with this good news?" He said, "Paradise has 100 grades which Allah has reserved for the Mujahideen who fight in His cause, and the distance between each of 2 grades is like the distance between the heaven and the earth. So, when you ask Allah for something, ask for Al-Firdaus, which is the best and highest part of paradise." The sub-narrator added, "I think the Prophet also said, above it, that is, Al-Firdaus, is the throne of beneficent, that is, Allah, and from it originate the rivers of paradise." Hadith 9. Narrated Samurah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Last night, 2 men came to me, in a dream, and made me ascend a tree and then admitted me into a better and superior house, better of which I have never seen. One of them said, 'This house is the house of martyrs.'" Hadith 10. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "A single endeavor, of fighting, in Allah's cause in the forenoon or in the afternoon is better than the world and whatever is in it." Hadith 11. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "A place in paradise as small as a bow is better than all that on which the sun rises and sets, that is, all the world." He also said, "A single endeavor in Allah's cause in the afternoon or in the forenoon is better than all that on which the sun rises and sets." Hadith 12. Narrated Sahal bin Sa'd, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "A single endeavor in Allah's cause in the afternoon and in the forenoon is better than the world and whatever is in it." Hadith 13. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Nobody who dies and finds good from Allah, in the hereafter, would wish to come back to this world even if he were given the whole world and whatever is in it, except the martyr who, on seeing the superiority of martyrdom, would like to come back to the world and get killed again, in Allah's cause." Hadith 14. Narrated Anas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "A single endeavor, of fighting, in Allah's cause in the afternoon or in the forenoon is better than all the world and whatever is in it. A place in paradise as small as the bow or lash of one of you is better than all the world and whatever is in it. And if a Huri from paradise appeared to the people of the earth, she would fill the space between heaven and the earth with light and pleasant scent, and her head cover is better than the world and whatever is in it." Hadith 15. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "By him in whose hands my life is. Were it not for some men amongst the believers who dislike to be left behind me and whom I cannot provide with means of conveyance, I would certainly never remain behind any Sariyah, army unit, setting out in Allah's cause. By him in whose hands my life is. I would love to be martyred in Allah's cause, and then get resurrected and then get martyred, and then get resurrected again and then get martyred, and then get resurrected again and then get martyred." Hadith 16. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, delivered a sermon and said, "Zayd took the flag and was martyred, and then Ja'far took the flag and was martyred, and then Abdullāh bin Rawaha took the flag and was martyred too, and then Khalid bin al-Walid took the flag though he was not appointed as a commander and Allah made him victorious." The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, further added, "It would not please us to have them with us." Ayyub, a sub-narrator, added, or the Prophet, shedding tears, said, "It would not please them to be with us." Hadith 17. Narrated Anas bin Malik, Haram said, "Once the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, slept in my house near to me and got up smiling. I said, what makes you smile? He replied, some of my followers who, that is, in a dream, were presented to me sailing on this green sea like kings on thrones. I said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Invoke Allah to make me one of them. So the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, invoked Allah for her and went to sleep again. He did the same, that is, got up and told his dream, and Haram repeated her question and he gave the same reply. She said, invoke Allah to make me one of them. He said, you are among the first batch. Later on, it happened that she went out in the company of her husband Ubadah bin As-Samit who went for Jihad, and it was the first time the Muslims undertook a naval expedition led by Muawiyah. When the expedition came to an end and they were returning to Sham, a riding animal was presented to her to ride, but the animal let her fall and thus she died. Hadith 18. Narrated on us, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, sent 70 men from the tribe of Bani Sulaym to the tribe of Bani Amir. When they reached there, my maternal uncle said to them, I will go ahead of you, and if they allow me to convey the message of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, it will be all right, otherwise you will remain close to me. So he went ahead of them and the pagans granted him security. But while he was reporting the message of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, they beckoned to one of their men who stabbed him to death. My maternal uncle said, Allah is greater. By the Lord of the Kaaba, I am successful. After that they attacked the rest of the party and killed them all, except a lame man who went up to the top of the mountain. Imam, a sub-narrator said, I think another man was saved along with him. Gabriel informed the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that they, that is, the martyrs, met their Lord, and he was pleased with them and made them pleased. We used to recite, inform our people that we have met our Lord, he is pleased with us and he has made us pleased. Later on, this Quranic verse was cancelled. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, invoked Allah for 40 days to curse the murderers from the tribe of Rul, Dakwan, Bani Lihyan and Bani Usayyah who disobeyed Allah and his apostle. Hadith 19. Narrated Jundub bin Sufyan, in one of the holy battles, a finger of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, got wounded and bled. He said, you are just a finger that bled, and what you got is in Allah's cause. Hadith 20. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, by him in whose hands my soul is. Whoever is wounded in Allah's cause, and Allah knows well who gets wounded in his cause, will come on the day of resurrection with his wound having the color of blood but the scent of musk. Hadith 21. Narrated Abdullāh bin Abbas, that Abu Sufyan told him that Heraclius said to him, I asked you about the outcome of your battles with him, that is, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and you told me that you fought each other with alternate success. So the apostles are tested in this way, but the ultimate victory is always theirs. Hadith 22. Narrated Anas, my uncle Anas bin An-Nadr was absent from the battle of Badr. He said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. I was absent from the first battle you fought against the pagans. By Allah, if Allah gives me a chance to fight the pagans, no doubt, Allah will see how, bravely, I will fight. On the day of Uhud when the Muslims turned their backs and fled, he said, O Allah! I apologize to you for what these, that is, his companions, have done, and I denounce what these, that is, the pagans, have done. Then he advanced and Sa'd bin Mu'adh met him. He said, O Sa'd bin Mu'adh! By the Lord of An-Nadr, paradise! I am smelling its aroma coming from before, the mountain of Uhud. Later on, Sa'd said, O Allah's Apostle! I cannot achieve or do what he, that is, Anas bin An-Nadr, did. We found more than 80 wounds by swords and arrows on his body. We found him dead and his body was mutilated so badly that none except his sister could recognize him by his fingers. We used to think that the following verse was revealed concerning him and other men of his sort. Among the believers are men who have been true to their covenant with Allah. Surah 33, Ayah 23. His sister Ar-Rubaiyah broke a front tooth of a woman, and Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, ordered for retaliation. On that, Anas bin an-Nadr said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. By him who has sent you with the truth, my sister's tooth shall not be broken. Then the opponents of Anas's sister accepted the compensation and gave up the claim of retaliation. So Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there are some people amongst Allah's slaves whose oaths are fulfilled by Allah when they take them. Hadīth 23. Narrated Kharijah bin Zayd bin Thabit said, when the Quran was compiled from various written manuscripts, one of the verses of Surah Al-Ahzab was missing, which I used to hear Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, reciting. I could not find it except with Khuzaymah bin Thabit al-Ansari, whose witness Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, regarded as equal to the witness of two men. And the verse was, among the believers are men who have been true to what they covenanted with Allah, Surah 33, Ayah 23. Hadīth 24. Narrated Al-Barā, a man whose face was covered with an iron mask, that is, clad in armor, came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Shall I fight or embrace Islam first? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, embrace Islam first, and then fight. So he embraced Islam, and was martyred. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, a little work, but a great reward. He did very little, after embracing Islam, but he will be rewarded in abundance. Hadīth 25. Narrated Anas bin Malik, Ar-Rubai bint al-Barā, the mother of Haritha bin Suraka, came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, O Allah's Prophet, will you tell me about Haritha? Haritha had been killed, that is, martyred, on the day of Badr with an arrow thrown by an unidentified person. She added, if he is in paradise, I will be patient, otherwise, I will weep bitterly for him. He said, O mother of Haritha, there are gardens in paradise, and your son got the Firdaus al-A'la, that is, the best place in paradise. Hadīth 26. Narrated Abu Musa, a man came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and asked, a man fights for war booty, another fights for fame, and a third fights for showing off, which of them fights in Allah's cause? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, he who fights that Allah's word, that is, Islam, should be superior, fights in Allah's cause. Hadīth 27. Narrated Abu Ubs, who is Abdur Rahman bin Jabir, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, anyone whose both feet get covered with dust in Allah's cause will not be touched by the hell fire. Hadīth 28. Narrated Ikrimah that Ibn Abbas told him and Ali bin Abdullāh to go to Abu Sa'id and listen to some of his narrations. So they both went, and saw Abu Sa'id and his brother irrigating a garden belonging to them. When he saw them, he came up to them and sat down with his legs drawn up and wrapped in his garment and said, during the construction of the mosque of the Prophet, we carried the adobe of the mosque 1 brick at a time, while Ammar used to carry 2 at a time. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, passed by Ammar and removed the dust off his head and said, may Allah be merciful to Ammar. He will be killed by a rebellious aggressive group. Ammar will invite them to obey Allah, and they will invite him to the hell fire. Hadīth 29. Narrated Aisha, when Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, returned on the day of the battle of Al-Khandaq, that is, trench, he put down his arms and took a bath. Then Gabriel, whose head was covered with dust, came to him saying, you have put down your arms. By Allah, I have not put down my arms yet. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Where to go now?" Gabriel said, "This way," pointing towards the tribe of Bani Qurayza. So Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, went out towards them. Hadith 30. Narrated Anas bin Malik, for 30 days Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, invoked Allah to curse those who had killed the companions of Bir Mauna. He invoked evil upon the tribes of Rul, Dakwan, and Usayyah who disobeyed Allah and His Apostle. There was revealed about those who were killed at Bir Mauna a Quranic verse we used to recite, but it was cancelled later on. The verse was, "Inform our people that we have met our Lord. He is pleased with us and He has made us pleased." Hadith 31. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullāh, some people drank alcohol in the morning of the day of the battle of Uhud and were martyred on the same day. Sufyan was asked, were they martyred in the last part of the day? He replied, such information does not occur in the narration. Hadith 32. Narrated Jabir, my father's mutilated body was brought to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and was placed in front of him. I went to uncover his face but my companions forbade me. Then mourning cries of a lady were heard, and it was said that she was either the daughter or the sister of Umar. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, why is she crying? Or said, do not cry, for the angels are still shading him with their wings. Al-Bukhari asked Sadaqah, a sub-narrator, does the narration include the expression, till he was lifted? The latter replied, Jabir may have said it. Hadith 33. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, nobody who enters paradise likes to go back to the world even if he got everything on the earth, except a Mujahid who wishes to return to the world so that he may be martyred 10 times because of the dignity he receives from Allah. Hadith 34. Narrated Abdullāh bin Abi Awfa, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, know that paradise is under the shades of swords. Hadith 35. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, once Solomon, son of David said, by Allah, tonight I will have sexual intercourse with 100, or 99, women, each of whom will give birth to a knight who will fight in Allah's cause. On that, a companion, angel, said to him, say, Allah willing, but he did not say, Allah willing. Therefore only one of those women conceived and gave birth to a half-man. By him in whose hands Muhammad's life is, if he had said, Allah willing, he would have begotten sons, all of whom would have been knights striving in Allah's cause. Hadith 36. Narrated Anas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was the best, the bravest and the most generous of all the people. Once when the people of Medina got frightened, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, rode a horse and went ahead of them and said, we found this horse very fast. Hadith 37. Narrated Muhammad bin Jubayr, Jubayr bin Mut'im told me that while he was in the company of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, with the people returning from Hunayn, some people, Bedouins, caught hold of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and started begging of him so much so that he had to stand under a kind of thorny tree, that is, samara, and his cloak was snatched away. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, stopped and said, give me my cloak. If I had as many camels as these thorny trees I would have distributed them amongst you, and you will not find me a miser or a liar or a coward. Hadith 38. Narrated Amr bin Maymun al-Awdi, Sa'd used to teach his sons the following words as a teacher teaches his students the skill of writing and used to say that Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, used to seek refuge with Allah from them, that is, the evils, at the end of every prayer. The words are, O Allah, I seek refuge with you from cowardice, and seek refuge with you from being brought back to a bad stage of old life, and seek refuge with you from the afflictions of the world, and seek refuge with you from the punishments in the grave. Hadith 39. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used to say, O Allah, I seek refuge with you from helplessness, laziness, cowardice and feeble old age. I seek refuge with you from afflictions of life and death and seek refuge with you from the punishment in the grave. Hadith 40. Narrated Sa'ib bin Yazid, I was in the company of Talha bin Ubaidullah, Sa'd, Al-Miqdad bin Al-Aswad and Abdurrahman bin Auf, and I heard none of them narrating anything from Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, but Talha was talking about the day of the battle of Uhud. Hadith 41. Narrated Ibn Abbas, on the day of the conquest of Makkah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there is no emigration after the conquest but jihad and intentions. When you are called, by the Muslim ruler, for fighting, go forth immediately. Hadith 42. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Allah welcomes two men with a smile, one of whom kills the other and both of them enter paradise. One fights in Allah's cause and gets killed. Later on, Allah forgives the killer who also gets martyred, in Allah's cause. Hadith 43. Narrated Abu Hurairah, I went to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, while he was at Khaybar after it had fallen in the Muslims' hands. I said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, give me a share, from the land of Khaybar. One of the sons of Sa'id bin al-As said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, do not give him a share. I said, this is the murderer of Ibn Qawqal. The son of Sa'id bin al-As said, strange. A wabr, that is, guinea pig, who has come down to us from the mountain of Qadum, that is, grazing place of sheep, blames me for killing a Muslim who was given superiority by Allah because of me, and Allah did not disgrace me at his hands, that is, was not killed as an infidel. The sub-narrator said, I do not know whether the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, gave him a share or not. Hadith 44. Narrated Anas bin Malik, in the lifetime of the Prophet, Abu Talha did not fast because of the jihad, but after the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, died, I never saw him without fasting except on Eid ul-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Hadith 45. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, 5 are regarded as martyrs, they are those who die because of plague, abdominal disease, drowning or a falling building etc., and the martyrs in Allah's cause. Hadith 46. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, plague is the cause of martyrdom of every Muslim, who dies because of it. Hadith 47. Narrated Al-Bara, when the divine inspiration, those of the believers who sit, at home, was revealed, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, sent for Zayd bin Thabit, who came with a shoulder blade and wrote on it. Ibn Maktum complained about his blindness, and on that the following revelation came, not equal are those believers who sit, at home, except those who are disabled, by injury, or are blind or lame etc., and those who strive hard and fight in the way of Allah with their wealth and lives. Surah 4, Ayah 95. Hadith 48. Narrated Sahal bin Sa'd as-Sa'idi, I saw Marwan bin al-Hakam sitting in the mosque. So I came forward and sat by his side. He told us that Zayd bin Thabit had told him that Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, had dictated to him the divine verse, not equal are those believers who sit, at home, and those who strive hard and fight in the cause of Allah with their wealth and lives. Surah 4, Ayah 95. Zayd said, Ibn Maktum came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, while he was dictating to me that very verse. On that, Ibn Maktum said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, if I had power, I would surely take part in jihad. He was a blind man. So Allah sent down revelation to his apostle while his thigh was on mine, and it became so heavy for me that I feared that my thigh would be broken. Then that state of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was over after Allah revealed, except those who are disabled, by injury or are blind or lame etc. Surah 4, Ayah 95. Hadith 49. Narrated Salim Abu Nutter, Abdullāh bin Abi Awfa wrote, and I read what he wrote, that Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, when you face them, that is, your enemy, then be patient. Hadith 50. Narrated Anas, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, went towards the Khandaq, that is, trench, and saw the emigrants and the Ansar digging in a very cold morning as they did not have slaves to do that for them. When he noticed their fatigue and hunger, he said, O Allah! The real life is that of the hereafter, so please, forgive the Ansar and the emigrants. In its reply, the emigrants and the Ansar said, we are those who have given a pledge of allegiance to Muhammad that we will carry on jihad as long as we live. Hadith 51. Narrated Anas, the emigrants and the Ansar started digging the trench around Medina carrying the earth on their backs and saying, we are those who have given a pledge of allegiance to Muhammad that we will carry on jihad as long as we live. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, kept on replying, O Allah, there is no good except the good of the hereafter, so confer your blessings on the Ansar and the emigrants. Hadith 52. Narrated Al-Barā, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, went on carrying, that is, the earth, and saying, without you, O Allah, we would have got no guidance. Hadith 53. Narrated Al-Barā, on the day of the battle of Al-Ahzab, that is, clans, I saw the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, carrying earth, and the earth was covering the whiteness of his abdomen. And he was saying, without you, O Allah, we would have got no guidance, nor given in charity, nor prayed. So please bless us with tranquility and make firm our feet when we meet our enemies. Indeed, these people have rebelled against, oppressed, us but never shall we yield if they try to bring affliction upon us. Hadith 54. Narrated Anas, we returned from the Ghazwa of Tabuk along with the Prophet. Hadith 55. Narrated Anas, while the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was in a Ghazwa, he said, some people have remained behind us in Medina and we never crossed a mountain path or a valley, but they were with us, that is, sharing the reward with us, as they have been held back by a legal excuse. Hadith 56. Narrated Abu Sa'id, I heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, indeed, anyone who fasts for one day for Allah's pleasure, Allah will keep his face away from the hell fire for a distance covered by a journey of 70 years. Hadith 57. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever spends two things in Allah's cause, will be called by all the gatekeepers of paradise who will be saying, O so-and-so, come here. Abu Bakr said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Such persons will never be destroyed. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I hope you will be one of them. Hadith 58. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, ascended the pulpit and said, nothing worries me as to what will happen to you after me, except the temptation of worldly blessings which will be conferred on you. Then he mentioned the worldly pleasures. He started with the one, that is, the blessings, and took up the other, that is, the pleasures. A man got up saying, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Can the good bring about evil? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, remained silent and we thought that he was being inspired divinely, so all the people kept silent with awe. Then the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, wiped the sweat off his face and asked, where is the present questioner? Do you think wealth is good? He repeated thrice, adding, no doubt, good produces nothing but good. Indeed, it is like what grows on the banks of a stream, which either kills or nearly kills the grazing animals because of gluttony, except the vegetation-eating animal, which eats till both its flanks are full, that is, till it gets satisfied, and then stands in the sun and defecates and urinates and again starts grazing. This worldly property is sweet vegetation. How excellent the wealth of the Muslim is, if it is collected through legal means and is spent in Allah's cause and on orphans, poor people and travelers. But he who does not take it legally is like an eater who is never satisfied, and his wealth will be a witness against him on the day of resurrection. Hadīth 59. Narrated Zayd bin Khalid, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, He who prepares a ghazi going in Allah's cause is given a reward equal to that of a ghazi, and he who looks after properly the dependents of a ghazi going in Allah's cause is given a reward equal to that of a ghazi. Hadīth 60. Narrated Anas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used not to enter any house in Medina except the house of Sulaym besides those of his wives. When he was asked why, he said, I take pity on her as her brother was killed in my company. Hadīth 61. Narrated Ibn Awn, once Musa bin Anas, while describing the battle of Yamama, said, Anas bin Malik went to Thabit bin Qais, who had lifted his clothes from his thighs and was applying hunut to his body. Anas asked, O uncle, what is holding you back from the battle? He replied, O my nephew, I am coming just now, and went on perfuming himself with hunut, then he came and sat in the row. Anas then mentioned that the people fled from the battlefield. On that, Thabit said, Clear the way for me to fight the enemy. We would never do so, that is, flee, in the company of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. How bad the habits you have acquired from your enemies. Hadīth 62. Narrated Jabir, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Who will bring me the information about the enemy on the day of the battle of Al-Ahzab, that is, clans? Az-Zubayr said, I will. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said again, Who will bring me the information about the enemy? Az-Zubayr said again, I will. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Every prophet had a disciple, and my disciple is Az-Zubayr. Hadīth 63. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullāh, when the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, called the people, Sadaqah, a sub-narrator, said, Most likely that happened on the day of Al-Khandaq. Az-Zubayr responded to the call, that is, to act as a scout. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, called the people again and Az-Zubayr responded to the call. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, then said, Every prophet had a disciple, and my disciple is Zubayr bin al-Awwam. Hadīth 64. Narrated Malik bin al-Huwayrith, on my departure from the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he said to me and to a friend of mine, You too, pronounce the adorn and the iqamah for the prayer, and let the elder of you lead the prayer.